Hello, in this video I will show you how we modify our sketches and geometry having received additional reference information for the product we're designing. I'll show you how to change sketch dimension references and use Adobe Illustrator to extract and convert an accurate line drawing from a PDF file into SolidWorks. This is video number 3 in this mini-series. Make sure you've already seen video number 1 and 2 linked in the description below. Let's go. All right, now while I was having a little break, I remembered I was sent another file, which is the existing bare product concept drawings, production drawings. Now, what this matches to is this image and what you can see as the original. Now, this side of set of drawings is what we're creating in the end of this project. They will become factory drawings later on. It does have more accurate information on the scale. Now, this is really useful because a client wants us to replicate the scale but change the form to match the new concept. So let's take these drawings and see how they match up against what we've sketched. I'm going to make this sit on top of the screen and I'm going to zoom in and just pan across there and then come across to SolidWorks. All right. Now the tool I've used here is an always on top tool. I've got that hotkey and that is done by a Windows app called Power Toys, which is free. Try that out. So let's go to the side view and actually let's see if there's a general dimensions drawing, which there is. All right. And let's zoom in and have a look at the size, 67 by 103. What would we have? 60 by 96. So it's a tiny bit lower. Yeah, we could probably get away with within a couple of millimeters. 7 millimeters in this case is like 10%. Maybe that's a little bit too small. So let's tweak. We're going to tweak. Remember, everything is really controlled from this master sketch. So let's use it. And I want to try and do it independently so we don't create a big mess here while I'm taking you through it. I'm going to edit the sketch, all right, so I can just see a bit more clear just these elements. And so I can really kind of separate, because at the moment everything's sort of all together. I haven't named anything. It can be a bit confusing. Firstly, we want to increase the height. Now the height of this is all driven by this 54, I think. So if I change that, actually, the way to show you how well it's driven by that height is to click on that number. Come on, let's rebuild, please. Let's rebuild. All right, it's rebuilt. All right, it's rebuilt. So let's click on Master Sketch. Click on that 54 dimension. And let's change that to, we want to move up 6 millimeters. So let's just change it to 60. Beautiful. Now it's moved up the body, but it hasn't moved everything else with it. That's kind of our problem here. We've designed it so that the bodies are separated. Okay, they don't really have a lot of reference to each other. So if we want to fix that, because we like the original proportions, all we want to do is undo that change we just did, go into the master sketch, and look at how we've dimensioned the head. Now, this is driving the body height. So I can actually write in that sketch here, body height. And see it has notes to the sketch. So I know that that's controlling like the length or the height of the object. We can look at this one here because this is controlling the head height. All right. The length, do we want it a bit longer? Maybe. So what's controlling the length of our animal? Well, it is the starting point of the body. I'm trying to find where that dimension is. 42, body start. Got body start, and then I've got here, body length. All right, so just those key dimensions. What's driving this one? At the moment, the position of the leg is driven by the body, the origin, but we want to change that. And I'll show you how to change the dimension. You can click here, click on the arrow, click on a new line, and it will move the dimension to that line. So now I know that the center point of that leg is referencing the start of the body. The back leg is currently referencing the front leg. That's probably okay. The tail is referencing the origin, so we might want to change that. Okay, change this one. So I'm looking for that little blue dot, click and drop. Now, sometimes it goes a bit funny like this, so I'm just going to undo, and that's just to do with your selection. So you can always just delete, select something new, even then, stuffed up, 2 millimeters. So now what I'm doing is changing some of the dimensions from referencing the origin to referencing the actual geometry that I've created. I haven't changed any dimensions. That's key here. Okay, accept the sketch, save, and now we're going to try changing some of the numbers. So the height, we want to change the body height, or do we want to make the head height referencing the body height? It kind of feels like the head's a little bit low, doesn't it? So here, again, where the head height is currently referencing the origin, let's get it to reference like the center point of the head. Now, if the body moves up, the head will move up like this. Body height, change to 60, everything moves up. I think it should be a little bit higher, so I'm going to reduce it to 5. A little bit higher, 4. Now the lengths. I don't have a dimension here that actually shows the total length. I'm going to put one in from there to there, and that is going to be a driven dimension. So go yes, that's just showing me total length, but it's not one that I'm going to change. Let's try this again. So body lengths, let's just bump it out a little bit. That angle's like it's got a bit of a behind to it, but it's looking pretty good. Yeah, kind of like it. Maybe that snout looks a bit small, but that's the new shape. And now we'll see that we're starting, you can see the proportion changes now. So we've made it a bit taller. The key thing in here is like once we do some drawings for a client and we say, look, these are the actual dimensions. We do a 3D print, show them a 3D print. They can see the proportions. Then they can say, hey, let's reduce the height by 5 millimeters. And all I need to do is go to this master sketch and this one here, and I can click on a number and it's going to drop everything down. And that's the power of SolidWorks and parametric modeling. So this drawing tells me the existing ropes are also 8 millimeters. So I will change those. So where I think this one was already 8, but these ones were 6. I'm going to change them to 8 because I've done it all created from this one. I just have to change one dimension, and that's going to change for all 4 and change those indents all at the same time. That's really good. The tail's looking a bit small. What size tail did they have originally? 5 millimeter. Mine's a little bit bigger, so that's probably okay. We increased the size of the body, but we didn't really change any proportions of the head. If you like, this little section here might be a bit small. Now that head height is just from position. It's not actual dimension here. If I change this dimension, you can see how it changes the form. I think that looks a little bit better. I am missing a radius there. I'm going to put that in. Okay. Look, this is missing the fabric for the neck, but this really has covered off everything we need for the concept. Ears. Yeah, ears are a bit annoying, but I think from this point, let's do a 3D print. So I'll take you through that process. We're going to save the file. We're going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to save it in a new folder. Within this, 3D prints. And I'm going to go and change the file type to a step. And I'm not changing anything else. Leave all the holes and everything there because everything's indented. It just perfectly fits together. So there shouldn't be anything I need to change. Okay, so let's make a couple more adjustments. I think on reflection, our body shape isn't quite right. I've noted some of the comments from the client about a rounded cannon-shaped body, whereas I've got that straight on that top edge. So we're going to refine that a little bit, and we're going to do that. Actually, not in the master sketch. I think we can keep this here. We're just going to have a look at the revolve for the body, and maybe we can just change it in this sketch rather than the master. We'll see if it's doable. By doing that, what I mean is I'm going to delete this line. I'm going to tweak this so you can see when things are converted, like the edge here. Once I move it off that point, well, that end point is underdefined, so I can move it around. I'm going to keep this one defined, but I'm going to grab an arc tool. So instead of a straight line, it's going to have a little bit of an arc to it. And what I'm going to do is grab this point and make it tangent. Okay, so instead of what we had in the master sketch, which you can see here, the straight line, it's got a little bit of a curve. And to control that curve, all I can do is add a radius, and I'm going to make a nice even number, and that looks a little bit high. So I want to bring it down, make it lower. So I'm going to increase the size of the radius, and that makes it lower. And then let's press OK, and we can see now we've got in that body, it's got a bit more of a curve to it coming at the front. If we look at the side view, then yes, I know that the proportions are now different, but if we look at like this line here on the screen, this line here and this line here, they've kind of got some of that same curve to them. So without drastically changing the size. I have to update that fillet because that edge has changed, but it's a very quick update. Put that back on and to move on. Another point, looks like they want to keep the feet. So I'm going to find here, there is the dimensions for the foot. So we're going to recreate those with what we have, just so that we're accurate. It's a 20 by 20 by 14 high. It's a pretty easy thing to put back in. And we can see that we're close to that already. We've got a diameter of 18. And we have a radius of 20 on the side. The main difference is that these weren't done with an ellipse. They're actually just done with a straight arc. So let's recreate those. I'm just going to recreate this one. Now I'm going to lose a few references by doing this, but that's okay. First, I'm going to change the foot size to 20. I'm going to dimension center of the leg, and I'm going to use this line to do it from the front of the body, because that's also, I'm going to use the midpoint of that line to match up this. Okay, so that's controlling that distance. I'm then going to put in my top, which is, it's got the hole is 8.6 in one drawing and 8.5 in the other. Let's use 8.6. Factory can always tweak it if they want to. It's got a height of 14. We were pretty close to that already. And a radius of 20 on the sides. That is pretty good. Let's mirror that back to here. And then should we update the back leg? Yeah, probably. The distance apart was 35 millimeters. So let's just remember that. Now, as we delete these, that means we're going to lose some references for other things that have been sketched. So we will have some things to clean up. I'm just going to select all of those lines, go linear pattern, 35, okay, and now that's in there. But watch as I press OK, I'm going to get some errors. So I have to go through and clean those up. Now, this is a smallish model. There's not a lot of detail there, so I'm not too concerned with having to redraw some of these elements. Something like this, quite quick convert. This was a revolve around this midline. The front, the first plane is at this sketch point. Let's put it here. That leg, I think this point can be on this, it'll be on the center of this face. So let's select that circle. Will that work? Coincident? No. Let's go to this view and we can make it on the midpoint. That works. The depth of that foot was, doesn't say, 10. It was 10. So where we see this sketch here, instead of at 6, it's actually 10 from the top. Now we can increase that just to say we have to update the linear pattern just because the bodies have changed, actually because the reference changed up to reference and from reference. Cool. The rest should be fine. Okay, great. So we've updated the feet, check them off. So we're using the same feet, but a new head and new body. Same head, rounded cannon body. Thinner line, same head. Okay, sorry, I'm just looking at the concept information. This one, same head. Okay, we've got some more redrawing to do. That's fine. Let's find the head. That's the artwork. This is the shape of it. And thankfully, these drawings are half decent. So let's use them and recreate. Save. I'm going to come into this sketch. And let's just, like we can see how close we were. So it looks like it's a 30 millimeter diameter. Now, I don't think we actually controlled that with anything apart from this radius. If I press here and here, I had 31. Close. So 30, the complete length was 30. I had 32. So again, pretty close. They don't have all the dimensions, but because we're just copying the head, doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if I'm a little bit off with that. That's what that means. This was 6. I've got 7.2. That's definitely longer. The depth of that hole, it says it's 12, and that's 12. The shape on the front, the shape on the curve there, kind of similar. All right, let me show you another trick. You can drop in sketches directly in to SolidWorks by copy and paste. You just don't have the same control you do as if you're using a sketch picture. Because now if I want to click on a dimension, yeah, it's there. Maybe I can redraw just based on what I can see. It's only a couple of lines, won't take me that long. This bit looks bigger. Up to 12, 11.5. Curve, All right, I can't see anything there. I'm just going to drag that across and see what I've made. It's not too bad. Just trim that back. I did that one all the way, so I don't need that one. That's pretty good. Let's just put some dimensions to it all. Okay, now how's that? Those changes. That one's a little bit shallow. Too much. Don't think it goes down. Definitely doesn't go down. It's actually just got a bit of a straight bit to it. It's not really tangent. Just getting a line tool between these, and it's not going to be 5. Quite an annoying shape to put in. There is another way to accurately put it in, more accurately, which I could try, which I should probably do. So let's do it. Just going to save that. My head's going to be a bit funny, but because I was editing the master sketch and didn't finish it, but this is created off another thing, but that still survives. All right. So here's the process. Open Illustrator. In Illustrator, I'm going to insert my drawing, and I'm going to open the page that image is on, the part is on. If I'm lucky, it's going to be actual line work that I can select, which it is. It's great. If I'm also lucky, I'm going to be able to select it and I can see, oh, look at all those points. Okay, it's not smooth artwork, but it's there. I'm going to change my units to millimeters, and I'm going to check the length. So if I select that, it should say 30, but here it's split 29.125. A little bit off, but pretty close. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select those two and make a copy. And then I'm going to select Object Path Simplify, because what I want to do is keep the shape but reduce the points. You can see that. I'm going to bring it down from like 589 points to 21. I'm going to join those two endpoints, and then I'm just going to scale it up to 30 wide. I'm going to copy it and put it on a new page. I only need a very small page because it's only a very small part. 50 by 50. I'm going to copy and paste. There we go. There's my shape. Now I'm going to export as, put it on my desktop, just my downloads, a DXF file. There, headed DXF, 1 millimeter equals 1 unit. Okay. All right. Now for the magic. We're going to roll back above everything to our master sketch. I'm going to click on the right sketch plane. I'm going to do Insert DXF DWG. I'm going to browse to that file, open. I'm going to go next to millimeters. I can't see it on this page, but let's try and import and see what happens. There it is. Look at that scale. That is looking not bad. Yeah, what I'm going to do is right click and make it an edit sketch. I'm going to edit the sketch. I'm going to select it all, turn it into a block. I'm going to move it, block the angle, move it up here, delete that reference. Let's check what dimension it is. Yeah, it's 30. Cool. Accept the sketch, move the sketch above the master. So now when I'm editing the master sketch, I can see the one behind it. And you know what I can do with that? I'll show you. Let's delete some of these relations and dimensions that we don't need. I'm going to manipulate my existing sketches until they match what you can see from the alternative. Now, sometimes you have to delete some lines, and some of them might be tweaked. Like this here is like quite an organic shape, bit of an S. Good question. Now, I've learned that I'm recreating this part. It's not going to be new. They're not going to use this in their production drawings because they've already got it. So I can just copy directly all the basic shapes, even this sort of complicated bit at the front. Like I could just go grab that, all these ones here, even that. It's only, I think, right at this point here where I want to make this one its own, gives that one a dimension because I want that to be 30, and then give it a little radius on this edge. That's pretty close. That's pretty good. Except now, reference one, we can say, yeah, it is a head reference. We can hide it and never talk of it again. Now I'll roll down to my head and just delete everything here and convert the existing one and then revolve that. It looks a little bit funny, but they're not going to produce from this file, so I'm not too concerned. We just want to make sure everything else works. Let's just roll down all the way, and the rest of it looks good. Job. Well, another element of the project done. Let's delete that, and let's save it here. Hey, thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it, please like and share. If you've got any suggestions for other content, leave it in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And there's some other videos here. Check out. Thanks.